welcome back to another Java and Journeys with Jillian. It is the evening time and we are about to go inside the beauty supply store because I don't know if you all have noticed, I have clearly noticed, but she has been looking busted. Like the hair is not giving moisturization, not giving well maintained, none of that. And I think this humidity and this heat has been killing me in the state of Florida. So we are going to the beauty supply store so I can actually find some crochet hair because dun, 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 I am going to go get some crochet braids this week because I have some travel for work as well as to visit my mom that's going to be upcoming. So I don't want to have to deal with my hair. I don't want to have to deal with any maintenance. I need something super easy. I typically get braids fairly regularly, but since we moved to Florida, and especially because of the heat and humidity, even though hair braiding can be a great protective style, I haven't really felt like getting anything because I typically like to wear my hair very long. And with the heat, it just doesn't feel comfortable on my neck. I didn't want to have to deal with it. But now with upcoming travel, I'm like, we're just going to have to bite the bullet. We're going to have to do it because I don't want to have to deal with my hair. I have been so stressed with work and just life and everything going on. I want something that's low maintenance. So that way I don't feel like a habitual hot mess. So come with me. We're going to go check out the beauty supply store. So Whitney and I are over near the Florida Mall in Orlando. I would have recorded some of the mall experience, but I just was not really in the mood. Really, the highlight of us being out right now is just going to get this hair. So we're going into Elegant Beauty Supplies, and hopefully they won't be upset about recording or anything like that. So let's go ahead and head on in. Thanks, Whitney. We just need to find the crochet section, which I think is this aisle here. Do you all see all this hair? I love Elegant Beauty Supply because I've been here once before, but I think I maybe was at a different location. They have a few different locations here in Florida, and they just have aisles and aisles and aisles of hair, which is awesome because you get a lot of options. So let's figure out what style we want to get. And for those of you all that are unfamiliar, that have never walked into a beauty supply store, you feel like you'd be overwhelmed, I am true to this. I'm not new to this. I love all this hair, and it's really good if you're someone who's a first timer to all of this to do your research and figure out what you want so that way you can narrow down styles and you can figure out like what look you're going for, right? Are you going for box braids? Are you going for goddess braids? Are you going for loose hair for crochet? Do you want pre-loop, pre-twisted? You want it, we got it. So I am going to look around here to see if I can actually find the style that I want, and I'll check back in with you all shortly. So I think I found the hair that I am going to get. I wanted to show you all again like the options. So I love crochet hair, and for those of you all that are unfamiliar with crochet braiding and what that technique, it's basically when the hair is braided down, so you get cornrows, and you could do all sorts of different designs and patterns depending on how you want the hair to appear and how you want it to lay. But essentially what ends up happening is you use something that looks like a crochet needle essentially, and you crochet the hair into the cornrows, so into your braids. And you can see here, you can always tell that something is meant for crochet braiding because it'll say, of course, on the package, but then also it will have like, typically, if you're getting something that's pre-looped, you'll see it at the top, and it will show that. Oh, no problem. But you'll see this latch right here, and you have all just different styles. So like if you don't want to sit for hours getting individuals, and let's just say you want Senegalese twists, like, and you want them to be extra long, you have this option. So I love this particular beauty supply store because they tend to have so many amazing options. But I think Whitney and I found the hair that we wanted. So I'm going to show you all that real quick and just peruse through the aisle, and then we're going to look at some products here. But you see all the options for the wigs, which I am not much of a wig girly. I used to love like to try and experiment with wigs, but it didn't really last very long, which I don't know why, because wigs, especially if you get like a nice quality one, but these are all, so typically if I'm getting individual braids, this is the aisle that I live in to find some braiding hair, pre-stretched. So the hair that I think I am going to get, actually my sister and I were walking through the aisles and she saw it for me and I'm like, oh my God, this looks so beautiful. But I think this is actually what I'm going to go for. And I have a big A head, so I think typically I get 6 packs, and because this comes in a bundle of 3, I may actually end up doing, I'm trying to contemplate whether I want to do 2 of these or 3. But yeah, this is what I think I'm going to get. I think as an alternative option too, I really love the butterfly locks. I just love the feathery look. So what I picked out were the boho twist. So I just wanted to take one more look down this aisle. I also like the locks as well. Like you see the mermaid locks here. But I have definitely gotten these passion twists. It's just always like such a beautiful, beautiful look. But I just love crochet because it's a fraction of the time when you compare it to individuals, especially if you don't have multiple people braiding your hair at one time. That's when it can just become like tedious because you end up spending so much time in the chair. And y'all, time is money, money is time. I just don't have it to sit in a chair for several hours. This is what I miss about Southern California. Is when I was there was this particular shop I would go to get my hair braided, and these ladies were amazing. And there would be multiple, like 2 to 3 women working on my hair, and I could be in and out of there within like 4 hours if I got individuals. Crochet, it was nothing for them. Like, again, a fraction of the time. I will say one style that I thought about, and I keep going back and forth, is the box braid. Kind of like goddess braids, is loose at the end and braided at the top, which I really like. But this color is a little bit too dark. This is a little bit too yellow and shiny. So I was just walking back through just to double check if they had anything. I'll probably end up getting one of these mousse products. So pro tip, if you have synthetic hair, which is mostly what crochet hair is, you want to get something that, because it's synthetic, that's going to maintain the curl without it looking too dry and tangled over time. Then of course, what is getting hair without making sure you have the right products? The problem is with me is that I already have a slew of products at home, and I tend to have a really bad habit of product hoarding. But I really love typically the olive oil brand. It's really nice. And then of course you see some of the press-ons, which, y'all, I have so many press-ons at home. I used to be so into this, and now I have just not been into glamming myself up like I used to be. I need to do a better job of that. And looking at some of the different edge booster products. I am not the greatest at laying my edges in like cool and creative ways. I keep it pretty plain Jane when I do decide to do it, that is. But my sister was telling me that this edge booster product, she thinks is something she's ordered from Amazon. It's pretty effective, so I may pick up some of that and try it. And of course, what is a beauty supply store without cosmetics? I also love a good chain, but I think these may be a bit too shiny for me personally. Good morning, everyone. So I have just arrived. I've just parked to go get my hair braided. So the last that you and I spoke is when we were at the beauty supply store to get the hair that we needed for our appointment. I'm so excited. So my hair is washed. I'm ready to go. Typically, again, for those of you all who do not typically get your hair braided, what happens is showing up to these appointments ready to go is essential to get in and out as quickly as possible. As I had shared with you all when we were looking at the beauty supply store for what kind of hair to get, time is money and money is time. So unless it states otherwise, when you go to these appointments, you show up, your hair washed, blow dried, be ready to go, unless you are paying for an additional service. And typically a lot of hair braiders will be very clear and very upfront with what they can do, with what they can't do, and it all depends, right? You could go to an African hair shop that has a lot of folks ready to go, ready to braid your hair, and sometimes they may have some flexibility to go ahead and blow out your hair and wash it, but it's going to cost, right? So unless these things are included in the service, and again, it should say that when you're booking the appointment, always plan on just blow drying your hair yourself. And also, I would just recommend doing it yourself, because certain hair braiders, depending on who you go to, they can be a bit rough with your hair. So I prefer to just always be ready to go to these appointments, hair blown out. Typically my hair is like out here, but I don't know if it's the stress of just everything going on right now. I have been losing a ton of hair. I also used this heat protected hair cream when I was blow drying my hair. So I think that it has actually made it a little bit flatter than what I'm used to, but I have been losing a ton of hair, which is not good. I'm taking all my vitamins. I'm doing all of that. Stress is something else. So for those of you all, we've talked about this before in some of my other videos, do what you can to relieve stress. I have completely fallen off. Back in July, actually, I had gotten COVID, and I feel like it has just been so hard health-wise for me to bounce back from that. I feel good. I'm good now. Like, it took me about a few weeks to fully get over COVID, but I will say that since then, like, I was working out, I was doing all this stuff, and now I feel like with work, with everything going on, I have just been in this very state of high stress and working long hours, and I think that sometimes it just takes a toll on me, and I try to execute some work-life balance, and maybe we can talk about that in another video. But part of why I'm getting my hair braided right now is I have a lot of travel coming up. I don't want to be stressed out trying to roll up my hair at night or wrap it or anything else. Your girl has been looking not her best in some of these videos lately. So I'm looking forward to getting this style, getting my crochet braids in. That way it's a little bit of a lower lift. I don't look as messy. I don't look as battered and beaten as I feel right now. So I will check in with you all after the braiding appointment. And just like that, we are done. 1 hour. That was record time. I will drop Kim's information in the description if you do live in the Orlando area and you would like to go to Empress Braiding. She is absolutely fabulous, always on time, super friendly, super courteous, and she hooked me up. Like, we're done in and out within an hour. That is what I'm talking about. we were joking and talking, and she was saying that about 70% of her clientele, they actually get individual braids. And she was like, yeah, she was like, I've actually been having a few more crochet braids as of late. And I was just really blown away by that. I do love individual braids. I have such a deep place in my heart for individuals, but I just don't want to sit in a chair for hours and hours and hours. Now, the place that I would go to when I lived in Southern California that you all probably heard me mention when we were at the beauty supply store, they were great, but that was like multiple women working on my hair at one time. So I was a bit more open to individuals. But you know, when you're just going to one single hair braider, and everyone has different speeds of braiding, and oftentimes when you're booking these braiding appointments, they'll tell you how long they estimate for your appointment to take. Of course, this is dependent on the size of your head. I have a big ass head, y'all. Like that, it just is what it is. So I always bring extra hair. I always prepare for the fact that sometimes it may take a little bit longer for me if I'm getting an individual braid style. But now, especially being here in Florida, I just prefer to get crochets. It's fast, it's easy, and I'm in and out. I am so grateful to Kim. I'll drop her information. She does all types of braiding styles. Check her out if you are in the Orlando area. Right now, I'm going to head back because I still have a long day ahead of me, but I'll check back in with you all shortly. Hello, everyone. I think this is now the following day since I have gotten my braids in. And y'all, it has been again a crazy week. I think I mentioned this yesterday that it has just been super stressful, super tied up at work. I am now outside. I'm happy that we are now here at the weekend. I wanted to wrap up this video by just sharing some final thoughts for those that are either A, interested in getting their hair braided, or B, if you are interested in like looking into it, doing some research, maybe considering other types of braiding styles, right? Because there's so many. I would say that again, Kim just did a fabulous job from Impress Hair. If you're in the Orlando area, definitely look up Kim. She's fantastic. She's fast. She is on time, honey. Like we stand someone who can be on time for the appointments because subject for another day. I think sometimes there is a perceived reputation amongst some stylists of not being on time, not calculating the length of an appointment correctly, and you end up running late and all of that. And thankfully, that was not the issue with Kim. She was fantastic. I have not had any significant pain. Now, I will say that if it is the first time that you're getting your hair braided, or let's just say the first time in a long time, you may experience some tenderness, right? But that's just something to keep in mind. When you're getting your hair braided, it should never be painful. Like, you should not be in tears. I have read and heard of so many horror stories where folks are like, oh my God, like I'm in pain, I had to take my hair out. Kim was very, very caring enough to ask me throughout the appointment, hey, is it too tight? Are you good? And I was fine. It was not too tight. That was my second time getting my hair done with her, and she has done an amazing job. Even the African hair braiding shop I went to in Southern California, they were amazing. They would always ask like, hey, is it too tight? Are you okay? So you also want to make sure you are being mindful to pick a stylist that actually cares about making sure that you are comfortable, that you're good, that you're not, suffering in silence, that you're not in any pain. If you ever get your hair braided and you realize that you're in a significant amount of pain, then something's wrong. Be careful, because I have heard horror stories of people breaking out in blisters and getting bumps and all sorts of things. Now, I will say I experienced some, because of course your hair is braided, right? So you're going to have some tenderness. That happened. I popped a couple ibuprofen, kept it moving, right? I was never in any significant amount of pain or feeling an amount of pain that had me in tears or anything like that. That is going to happen because, again, you're braiding down your hair, you're adding hair on top of your head. So you are going to feel a tightness, right? That is totally common, totally natural. What is not common, what is not natural, is if you walk away from an appointment in a significant amount of pain to where you feel like you cannot function, to where you are in tears, to where you are getting blisters or any of that. It is way too tight if you're experiencing those things. With that being said, I am just so thrilled. Like, it's been so nice to have my hair finally done, and now I feel like that's one less thing to worry about. Typically at night, what I do is I will tie my hair up in sections, like just kind of like do twists in sections, like maybe 5 or 6 sections. I will pull my hair up in a bonnet, and I will put some like mousse to make sure to keep my hair from getting too frazzled, as well as keep my scalp oiled. So that's pretty much the routine I follow when I get my hair braided. Very easy, low maintenance. If you ever have any questions about it, or if you yourself are going to do a braiding style, drop down in the comments. Tell me like what kind of style you're thinking about doing. Are you doing crochet braids? Are you doing individuals? Are you doing butterfly locks? Are you doing something else entirely, right? Are you getting a sew-in? I am just a firm believer that sometimes, how you feel, how your hair feels, definitely can sometimes indicate how you feel on the outside. So I'm feeling much better now that I have my crochet braids in. I don't feel like I look as like destined for death and as exhausted, because y'all, it has been, by the time you all see this, I'm hoping that I can post this actually tomorrow. Typically I try to post 2 videos a week religiously. If we had a great week, 3 videos, but y'all, this week you may just be getting 1, but we'll see. We have a lot of cool things coming up. I'm going to be visiting my mom in Nashville soon, which I'm super excited about. Also have some work trips coming up. I don't know if I'm actually going to do any filming, because I try to be very careful when I'm on a work trip. I'm focusing just on my work, and that is all. So if there is an opportunity after work hours to go to a restaurant or showcase something, I'll do my best to take you all along, but no guarantees, because I pretty much have things scheduled in the evenings, some things that are work related. So I want to just be very mindful and respectful of that. But if I can't take you along with me to my upcoming work trips, I will for sure. Otherwise, you will be seeing a day in the life of me, jaunting around Florida, staying as caffeinated as possible. With that being said, thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you on the next journey. Bye.